Hi, I'm Harold, 33, and last month my family tried to spend $88,000 of my savings on a ring light and a smoothie, and that's not even the craziest part. Let me take you back to the day my mom handed my black card to my sister like it was a napkin and said, "Sweetheart, use your brother's card. He's got about $90,000 saved." I was 2 feet away. I heard it clear as day. Tie loosened, draft settlement in hand, lemon cleaner in the air. And my first thought wasn't anger. It was, did she really just say that like she was offering gum? It was a quiet Sunday, the kind that smells like rain, fried onions, and mild tension. I was at my parents' house, reading a settlement draft on my phone, half listening to a reality show in the background where people with suspiciously white teeth were arguing over a rental house. My mom, calm as always, slicing peaches with the tiny serrated knife she's had since I was 10, just reaches into the ceramic bowl by the keys and plucks out my card like it's a garnish. "Sweetheart, use your brother's card," she says to my sister Jenna, who grins and takes it with the energy of someone unwrapping a gift. "Back to school stuff," Jenna says. She hasn't been in school in 6 years. I say, "Put it back." My voice is flat, like a deposition transcript. Mom waves me off like I'm interrupting her show. "Stop being dramatic, Harold." I blink. Dramatic. For not wanting my bank account to be Jenna's boutique wishlist. Jenna tucks the card into her phone case like she's claiming a prize. "Be right back," she chirps, grabs Dad's car keys, kisses Mom's cheek, and vanishes in a puff of vanilla perfume and entitlement. Mom keeps slicing. Doesn't even flinch. "You always make things so heavy," she says. "You know your sister is trying to get on her feet." Here's the thing. Jenna is always trying to get on her feet. She just never tries the part where she stands. And I know the drill. I've played the role of the calm one my whole life. The fixer. The guy with napkins in the glove box and the Wi-Fi password memorized. I've been the one covering rent. Just this once. The MRI copay, the roof repair. Not because I'm rich, because I'm responsible. But the card? That moment? Something clicked. Not rage. Not yet. Just a click. That night, Jenna texted a photo to the family chat. 3 shopping bags in a mall food court, smoothie front and center. Caption? "We love a productive Sunday." I stared at the image. No tags. No receipts. Just vibes. My phone buzzed again, fraud alert. Then another. Then another. Almost $90,000 worth of ring lights, designer laptops, perfume, and some camera that looked like it could shoot Planet Earth 3. All in my name. And that was the moment I stopped being the bank. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan like it owed me money. My phone was still warm from all the fraud alerts. I'd frozen the card already, midway through Jenna's attempt to drop nearly $88,000 at Electro Electronics. But my brain kept racing like I'd left the stove on in my checking account. At 7:02 p.m., the bank's automated system had buzzed me with, "Is this you?" $3.99 Electro Electronics. $450 Lumiere shoes. $280 Maison Parfum. $18,800, pending. Pending? Like a guillotine waiting for gravity. And that's when I grabbed my keys, still in my Sunday loafers, and drove. Rain streaked the windshield. My hands clutched the wheel like I was trying to throttle the car into understanding. I barely remembered the turns, just the glowing red of brake lights and the soft smell of mall cinnamon. Jenna was at the counter when I got there. Electro Electronics. Picture a wall of TVs lighting up her face like she was being interviewed by the future. Cart stacked with every influencer starter kit imaginable. DSLR camera, 2 laptops, a drone, a tablet, 3 boxes of wireless lights, and a speaker setup that looked like it could host a TED Talk on Mars. Mom was next to her, chatting with the cashier about warranty options, like this was a blender and not a heist. I walked up. "Give me my card." Jenna didn't flinch. She blinked like a cat in the sun. "Relax. We're just doing the bundle." The cashier swiped the card. Beep. Pause. He looked at the screen. Then at Jenna. "Sorry, but this card is declined." Jenna laughed. "Run it again." I froze it. I said, voice flat. Give it back. Mom stepped in like a customer service manager summoned by anger. Don't humiliate your sister, she hissed. People are looking. Good, I said. Let them see the show. You'll get it back, Mom snapped. When her studio takes off. Ah, yes, the studio. The neon dream that had already swallowed my old laptop, a co-signed car, and a third of my streaming services. The cashier coughed. I can hold the items for 15 minutes, then they go back. No, I said. They go back now. This is unauthorized. Jenna's expression flipped. The charm left her face like someone pulled a plug. You're so small, she said real quiet. You love making me feel like trash. You've always loved that. I held her gaze. Give me my card. She shoved it into my chest like she was slapping a fly and turned on her heel. Mom followed, both muttering about my attitude as they walked off, to sit in the food court and sip smoothies like it was intermission in a Broadway betrayal. I sat across from them. The table was sticky. A kid screamed behind me about a pretzel. My shirt clung to my back. I put my phone on the table, opened the banking app, and slid the screenshots over like evidence in a courtroom. Do you see this? I asked. Do you see what you tried to spend? It was a bundle, Jenna muttered. $88,000 worth of bundles? I asked. Discounts, Jenna? She looked at me then, eyes flicking just slightly. Like she heard the end of the rope tightening. No more, I said. What's that mean? Mom asked, voice sharp. It means, I said, slow and steady, there will be consequences. Real ones. Mom scoffed. What, you gonna sue your own mother? She said it like a dare. Like she thought the punchline was me. And for the first time in a decade, I wasn't laughing. The next morning, the group chat was already burning like toast someone forgot in the oven. Jenna. Public humiliation over nothing. You don't lift people by shaming them. You step on them to feel tall. I hope you sleep well, Harold. Mom. Your brother has always had control issues. Dad. Let's be reasonable. Let's be reasonable is how my father says do what your mother wants. I didn't reply. I just quietly took screenshots, made backups, and started locking every digital door in my financial life. I changed every password. Froze my credit. Cancelled the streaming services I'd been, temporarily, paying for since 2021. I even shut down the family cell plan I'd been covering until someone else picked it up. No one ever did. It felt petty for 5 seconds. Then it felt like oxygen. At 11:43 p.m., my phone rang. Voicemail from Mom. You embarrassed me today. You think money makes you superior? You wouldn't have that money without us. We fed you. We clothed you. We did without so you could study. You owe this family. She said oh like I was late on rent. The next morning, 7:08 a.m., Dad texted. Come by tonight. Family meeting. I stared at it. Typed I can't. I have work. Erased it. Typed. Okay. 6. Send it. At 6:04 p.m. I walked into my childhood home with the same tension in my spine I'd had every time I'd brought home a report card with an A-. Mom was already seated on the couch with a notebook. A notebook. Jenna wore sunglasses indoors. Dad paced like a man rehearsing a ceasefire. We're going to resolve this, he said, clapping his hands like he was calling a timeout in a family version of Judge Judy. Great, I said, sitting. Resolution's good. Mom leaned in. You humiliated your sister over a misunderstanding. What was misunderstood? I asked. She smoothed a page in her notebook. We thought your savings was for family goals. Family goals? I said. Jenna's studio is an investment, she replied. She's building a brand. You of all people should support that. No, I said. It's not an investment. It's theft. And I'm not funding a vision board. You're selfish, Jenna snapped. You think your little odd job makes you better than us. I laughed. Surprised myself. Nothing about my job feels little. But this isn't about better. It's about boundaries. Mom sat back like I'd said a slur. Boundaries, she repeated, tasting the word like it was spoiled. So, she continued, here's what we propose. We set a monthly family support budget. Just until Jen is stable. You contribute, say, $2,000. That's nothing to you. And in exchange, you stop making everything so combative. My mouth opened. Then shut. Then I pulled a folder from my bag and placed it on the table. Neat, clean font on the cover. Family Financial Conduct Agreement. Jenna rolled her eyes. Oh my God! I drafted it on my lunch break, I said. It's not a trap. It's clarity. Like I do for clients who bite. What's in it? Mom asked. Exactly what I've said for months. My accounts are mine. My card is mine. Any requests for money come in writing, with amount, purpose, and repayment terms. No guilt trips. No surprise visits to borrow my laptop or blender or microwave. And if there's an emergency? We talk. Real emergency, not the ring light broke. Mom flushed. We're not signing that. That's fine, I said. It still applies. You can't make rules for us. Jenna snapped. I can make rules for me, I said. And I am. Mom stood. Get out. I stood too. Okay. She blinked. Didn't expect that. You're leaving? Yes. I'll be in touch. When I'm ready. Ready for what? Jenna asked. Silence, I said. A break. Dad, always the closer side. Don't be dramatic. I'm not, I replied. I'm done. And I left. Not in anger. Just in peace. Real, terrifying, grown man peace. The first week of silence felt like I'd thrown a rock into a hornet's nest and walked away while everyone else got stung. At first, Cousin Leo texted, LOL, your sister says you're rich now. Congrats. Aunt Marlo wrote, family forgives. Be the bigger person. Someone from high school met, your mom says you're having a mental health episode. You okay? And then, it all quieted down. No Jenna. No mom. No passive-aggressive memes about loyalty in the group chat. Just quiet. 3 days in, the building concierge called. You have a package from someone who was crying? Inside, my old laptop. Scratched. Returned with a ring light still in the plastic. No note. I took a picture, labeled it returns, and moved on. I was already planning the future. The condo I'd been eyeing, the one with the green-tiled bathroom, was still on the market. I called the broker. We toured it together the next week. I walked around each room quietly, like I was learning a secret about myself. My body buzzed, not fear. Not joy. Just the weight of doing something entirely for me. Then came the call. Blocked number. Voicemail. My mother's voice, but smaller. We need your help. Jenna's got an issue with her credit. Something about a card. A police officer is here asking questions. Call me. I listened twice. The second time, I caught what she didn't say. I called her back. What happened? She sounded like she was juggling words she hadn't practiced. It's a misunderstanding, she said. A card was used. They say it wasn't authorized. They say it's fraud. Whose card? A pause. Yours, she said quickly. But it's a mess, Harold. It's all in the system wrong. No, I said, cutting her off. It's actually very simple. I reported an unauthorized charge. The bank and police are doing their job. You're going to let your sister get arrested? She snapped. The old weaponized guilt out of the drawer. And for the first time, it just bounced off. I'm going to let the process work, I said. Like I would for anyone else. She's your sister, she said, voice quiet now. Pleading. And I've been her safety net for a decade. That net is tearing all of us down. She went silent. Then, you've changed. No, I said. I've stopped lying. That just looks like change. The next 2 days were chaos. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years suddenly developed urgent opinions about me. Jenna posted a story with a black background and white text. Sometimes betrayal comes in a suit and tie. I didn't reply. I didn't read. I only saw the screenshot when a friend sent it with, "Is this about you?" I replied. "Not my circus anymore." Then the silence stretched longer. No one asked for anything. No one borrowed a blender. No one needed an emergency streaming password reset. And just like that, I had room to breathe. 1 week later, I closed on the condo. I signed 26 documents in one sitting. Held the keys in my hand. They felt heavy. Real. Like proof that I was allowed to want something permanent. For me. On moving day, Marcus, my best friend from college, not my brother, helped me carry boxes and joke about how I still had every law school textbook. We sat on the floor, greasy pizza between us, and looked around the empty room. I didn't own a table yet. The walls were bare. The air smelled like possibility and faint tomato sauce. At 9:14 p.m., I walked into the green-tiled bathroom. I looked in the mirror. And I thought, this. I did this. And then my phone buzzed. Dad. Just 2 words. Proud of you. No emojis. No manipulation. No strings. I stared at it until my eyes stung. Then I typed back, "Thank you?" and nothing else. 2 months later, I got a text from Dad. "Come by. Just you. No drama." The house looked the same. Same lemon-scented counters. Same ancient TV murmuring in the corner. Same ceramic key bowl by the door, like a trap for anyone who's ever been too generous. Jenna wasn't there. Mom poured tea she doesn't drink and slid a cup toward me. She looked tired in a way that no amount of sleep could fix. "I shouldn't have taken your card," she said quietly, eyes on the steam. "I shouldn't have told Jenna to. I told myself it was for her future. But it wasn't my decision." My throat tightened. Years of arguments. And then, just that. Plain words. No garnish. No guilt. "She's back at the boutique," Mom added. "Part-time. She hates it. Work is good," I said. "Boring helps." Mom's mouth twitched into a reluctant smile. "You always liked boring." We sat in silence. A neighbor's dog barked twice like punctuation. "I'm not the bank anymore," I said. Not loud. Not angry. Just fact. "I know," she replied. "I know now." Dad sat nearby, staring at my hands. "I should have stopped it earlier," he said. "I thought I was keeping peace." "You were keeping quiet," I said. He nodded. He knew. Mom reached into her pocket and held out something small, my old spare key. "I never used it," she said. "I shouldn't have had it." I took it from her. It felt lighter than I remembered. "Thank you," I said. And meant it. As I stood to leave, Mom asked, "Do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No. I'm just tired." She exhaled like something heavy was finally letting go. "Can we see your place?" "You can't," I said. "Bring peaches." She laughed. "Small, real?" At the door, she hesitated. I could tell she wanted to say more. Maybe I'm sorry in 100 different ways. But she just said, "Will you let us try again?" "I'll let you knock," I replied. Because here's what practice taught me, as a lawyer, sure. But more as a human with limits. Boundaries feel cruel when you're trained to be useful. They feel cold when your role has always been warmth. But they're not walls. They're doors. With locks. That you control. People who love you. They knock. People who love your access? They rattle the handle. I'm done being access. These days I help when I choose, not when I'm cornered. I don't pick up every call. I don't Venmo just because someone's rent is late. And I don't explain myself to people who only miss me when the bills are due. Last week, Jenna texted me a photo of her first tiny paycheck. Just a slip of paper in her palm. "It's not much," she wrote. "But it's mine." I typed, "Proud of you." Then I put my phone down. That night, I sat at my wobbly IKEA table, alone in a condo that smelled faintly of paint and freedom. I looked around and thought, I did this. And my card? It was still in my wallet. Where it belongs. That Sunday, I bought peaches. Not because I needed them. Not because I missed the kitchen where my card disappeared. but because I wanted to slice them with my own knife, in my own space, on a counter I wiped clean for me. There was no music playing. Just the hum of the fridge, the echo of quiet ownership. I used to think love was about showing up. Dropping everything. Fixing things before anyone had to ask. Being the one with a napkin, a ride, a solution. But all that ever got me was a front row seat to watching people confuse access with entitlement. People say, you're the strong one. The responsible one. The calm one. What they mean is, you're the one we can drain without guilt. They never ask how the strong one stays strong. They just assume he's built from surplus. But I wasn't. That $90,000? It wasn't sitting in a gold vault somewhere. It was packed lunches. Skipped vacations. The same suit worn to every wedding like a uniform for someone else's celebration. It was 3 a.m. Google searches for real estate listings when anxiety made sleep feel illegal. It was sacrifice. And it was mine. Now, I wake up in a place where no one else touches the thermostat. Where my calendar doesn't include spontaneous emergencies wrapped in. Just for now. Where my coffee table doesn't hold borrowed ring lights or influencer catalogs pretending to be futures. I don't get frantic calls at midnight about quick favors. I don't lend my laptop. And I don't explain my no anymore. Sometimes I get texts. From Mom. From Jenna. They're shorter now. Less manipulative. More respectful. Not perfect. But human. One said. Hope you're well. I'm learning to budget. Harder than I thought. Another said. You were right. About more than I admitted. Sometimes I reply. Sometimes I don't. But I never, ever feel obligated. That's the thing they don't tell you about boundaries. At first they burn. Then they glow. Then they guide. Last weekend, I hosted my first dinner in the condo. Just 3 friends, a wobbly table, and a bottle of wine I actually liked. Not the one Jenna once told me. Looked richer. We laughed. No one asked for money. No one borrowed my card. No one treated me like a walking refund. And when someone offered to help with the dishes, I almost cried. Not because of the plates, because I realized how rare it is to be treated like a person instead of a resource. So that's where I'll leave you. Not with a bang. Not with a courtroom showdown. Not even with an apology that fixes everything. But with a key. The one that clicked in my head the day they tried to spend $88,000 on a camera and a smoothie. It wasn't the sound of a lock closing. It was me. Turning the door from the inside. And this time, it only opens if I say so.